Hey, Joanne, why is my assessed value of my house different from what you want to put it on the market for?
Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tom and Joanne. I'm Joanne Taranto.
And I'm Tom Matthews. And today we're going to talk about assessed values because this is a big hot topic item that everyone asks about, whether it's buyers, sellers. We're going to focus on the seller side. Why is my assessed value different from what we want to put the house on the market for?
Yeah.
And this is a topic that I have a lot of experience in, although we both do, being realtors for 20 years. But I did have the pleasure of serving on the Concord Board of Assessors for 5 years and chaired it for 3. They sent me out to Amherst twice for 2 40-hour classes, so we have a lot of knowledge. But Joanne, what do you typically talk to sellers about why the value is different?
So assessed value, and we're going to talk about the suburbs. So assessed value is the value basis that the town uses in order to set your taxes.
Right.
So basically what it is it's another valuation model on your property that is done by your municipality. And that value is what they then apply the tax rate to.
Right. I'm going to geek out on everybody and just tell you that assessed values are based on real estate values from 2 years ago. And the Massachusetts Department of Revenue requires that value to be between 90 to 110% of what they think your house is worth. And so we've been in a market right now where values continue to rise. So every year we've seen values rise. So right now we're seeing a lag between what properties are assessed for in the suburbs, particularly in the town of Concord,
right,
and what properties are selling for. But Joanne and I have been selling real estate for 20 years, and I distinctly remember going into a house in Lincoln that had failed to sell. And Joanne and I said to the sellers, why do you have your assessed value as 000? And they said, well, our realtor said that the assessed value had no relevancy to what our house was selling for. And Joanne and I always do this sales matrix, and we look at what is the relevancy between assessed value and sales. And what we found was that properties at that point were selling for 10% less than assessed value.
Yeah, this is an important part to looking at values of homes in a particular area, because sometimes there is a correlation between sale price and assessed value. And it's another data point that you need to be considering when you're doing an evaluation on the potential value of your home. So we always look at the assessed value. And we also know that sometimes in some instances, the assessed value could be off.
Of course.
One example of when the assessed value sometimes is off is if you've lived in your home for many, many, many years. You've never let the assessor in.
Yes.
You haven't pulled any permits.
Yep.
Sometimes those assessed values tend to lag behind. And it also could work in the converse, where it could be very high because the condition is poor.
Right.
If you've let the house get away from you.
Right.
So it's important to understand where this assessed value comes from. And then when you're a seller, trying to figure out, hey, does this assessed value, is this in line with the trends of what I'm seeing in my marketplace?
Yeah, because it's important. Again, being a nerd, I'll tell you all that the Department of Revenue wants the assessors in your house every 10 years. So like Joanne said, if you haven't let them in your house, the value could be off. And it's important for you, the homeowner, to know what that assessed value is, because so many of the automated valuation models, Zillow, Redfin, Realty.com, are using your assessed value as a metric to coming up with market value.
Yes.
And with so many buyers, I think 99.9999 are starting their search online.
Yeah.
That value is really important, because otherwise it then comes up to us, your advocate, to defend your value.
Yeah.
So, understanding how important that assessed value is critical. And if you're sitting there and you're a homeowner, and you're maybe not considering selling, and you're saying, my assessed value feels high, you have the right to file for an abatement. And an abatement is done typically in January, before February 1, where you can apply to your local Board of Assessors and ask for them to come out and reassess your property to see if it's wrong. And that's a really important opportunity for you, because at some point when you do go to sell, you would like to have that value be in the right range.
Yep.
So that you have the easier time of defending your asking price, because there is relevancy in today's marketplace to that assessed value and your sales price.
Yeah. And so another situation where you might find some inconsistency in assessed values is if the property card has incorrect features on it. So we are all human, human error happens. Sometimes when we go to list a property and we are checking the details at the town hall, we find that they have it as a 3-bedroom house and it's really a 4-bedroom house, or the reverse, or that there is no finished basement and there is a finished basement, or there is a garage and it doesn't say it has a garage. You need to be fact checking what
Yes.
the town is using for features of your home and what's in the public record.
Yeah, it's a really important, and it takes 5 minutes. Because other things that happen, towns, particularly towns in the suburbs, a lot of the houses were on septic systems, and then the towns added in sewer, and your house may have sewer now instead of a septic system, and that hasn't been updated, and that impacts value because now people don't have a potential failed septic hanging over their head. So, all of these reference points are readily available to you. All you have to do, you can go online. Most of the towns are online. Go to the Board of Assessors or the assessors for your town and pull up your property card and just look through it. And then if you have further questions, go into your municipality and talk to your assessor. They're very friendly. They're there to serve. They're there to serve townspeople. I highly recommend that engagement. And today, Joanne and I just wanted to give a little talk about assessments and how they affect your sales price.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of Coffee with Tom and Joanne. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Tom Matthews, and please subscribe and join more of our videos. Cheers.
Cheers.